Hey guys, it is just about September, and of course that means it's time for another Q&A video. I got a lot of questions, as I usually do, so I'm going to have to pick and choose which ones I do answer. I won't be answering all of them. So yeah, let's get started. Matthew asks, have you ever listened to the album MFZB by Zebrahead? And I actually got a couple Zebrahead questions this time around. I know I've answered, I mean, maybe not this specific question, but I don't really listen to Zebrahead. I tried listening to him a couple of years ago. I didn't really like it. I don't know. It's just not really for me, personally. I don't know. So yeah, I don't really like him, but I haven't listened to that album. Ian asks, why am I so goddamn sexy? Meaning me. I don't know, you know, it's a hard job. Nathan asks if I've ever smoked weed. Haven't gotten this question in a while, actually. I know a lot of people just assume that I did, just because I'm pretty laid back, but I never have. I don't plan to. It's just not something I really agree with, personally. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have or still do that I don't really care if they do, whatever. But I don't know. It's just not something that I really see myself doing. Plus, it smells like shit, and I don't like the smell of it. Okay, another Zebrahead question. I'm gonna skip that. Jamarcus asks who my favorite Super Smash Bros. Character is and why. That's kind of one thing I always notice, because I've played Smash Brothers ever since it came out in N64, and then the second and third one. I'll definitely be playing the newest one when it comes out. But one thing I definitely did notice while playing with my friends all the time is I never really had a favorite character. I mean, I had reasons for liking certain ones, but I never really had a go-to. I like Samus a lot. I don't really care for Zero Suit Samus, though. Kirby's really fun. I just feel like it's a little easier to not fall off the edge if you're Kirby or Jigglypuff or whatever. I don't really like Jigglypuff, though. I do like Link. Both versions of Link I like. But yeah, I don't really have like a real favorite. Probably because I was never super serious about the game anyway. I was never really that good. A couple questions from Matthew. Matthew asks, are you looking forward to GTA for the next generation? I mean, I feel like it'll be a while before it's even out. God, I think 4 came out in what, like 2007 or something, maybe 2008. I remember I was still in high school when it came out, so it was a pretty big gap between 4 and 5. And I mean, while 5 is amazing, I love 5 a lot, I didn't really care for 4. But I mean, I don't really have any plans lately to get any next-gen consoles, so I mean, maybe in a couple years when there's more in the catalogs for it, I'll get it. If I did, I'd probably get a PS4, if anything, but I don't know. I mean, I'll definitely play it if I have the console. I wouldn't buy the console just to play that, so I don't know. Will I ever get another Les Paul for my collection? Eventually, I'm sure I will. I mean, I haven't really been looking at like the higher end models lately. I've been really kind of getting into like the Les Paul specials, and like the lower end, like P90 Les Pauls look really cool. So I might get something like that someday. I don't know, maybe if I fall into some money. I don't know. I doubt that'll happen. Um, do I like stand up? Sure. And you say, if so, who are your favorites? Like Bill Burr, Louis C.K. I mean, I've mentioned before that I like both of them. So other than that, I don't have too many favorites. I mean, both of them are good, but I mean, I don't really watch a lot of stand up. What did or did I watch Blink at Reading? Sorry, this year. I watched a good amount of it. I thought that it was pretty hilarious that there was no big surprise like they were saying there was going to be, just because I know it disappointed so many people, and I did not get my hopes up at all. Just because there's no point in getting your hopes up when it comes to Blink. You know, you just gotta have to let it happen. Like, whatever happens with Blink happens. You know. But I mean, the set was okay. I mean, it was like a cool looking set. I mean, it was a huge crowd, and the fuck sign was cool. I mean, they sounded all right. I mean, the set list was so. I didn't think it was amazing. So, another question from Matthew: do you like the band Thrice? Where have you been, buddy? I've been listening to Thrice for like 10 years or something like that. I don't know. And you said I should check out. What does it say? Check out Artist in the Ambulance. I mean, I've mentioned multiple times that's one of my favorite albums ever. I mean, I love that album. And it is too bad that they're not together at the moment, but I mean, they've definitely changed since that album anyway. So I don't know. Their last couple albums haven't really done much for me. But what is it? Beggars was a really good album. William asked if I like Britpop, like Blur and The Verve. I've heard of them, and they're all right, but I mean, I don't really go out of my way to listen to them. It's not really my style, usually. Do I plan on getting a Chapman guitar? Maybe, if I ever really wanted another 7-string, I think I would get a Chapman, just because they look really, really nice. And they seem to be really great for the money, so... Alright, I got like 7 or 8 questions from Aaron. I don't know if I'll be answering all of them. What do I think of the Exogenesis symphonies on Muse's album The Resistance? I actually love those songs. I really like listening to them in my car, especially, but I wish they did more stuff like that. I'd really like that. It's not like, if you're not familiar with Muse, or you're just not familiar with those songs, it's definitely very piano based, and it's almost like a freaking symphony. It's really, really cool, and I like it a lot. Matt, as good as he is a guitar player, he's way better of a piano player, I think. I mean, he's been playing piano since he was like fucking 5 or something, and he's just incredible. What do I think about PRS guitars? I love PRS. I mean, I've never played one, but I mean, I'd definitely love to try one day. I've almost bought one a couple times. The best and worst concert I've ever been to. The best is kind of a toss-up. The last time I saw Muse was absolutely incredible. They were very, very good, and their live show is just amazing. But the first time I saw Blink was great. The first concert I ever went to was great. That was Rush for their Vapor Trails tour. I mean, I've been to a lot of good shows, but those ones always stick out for the best ones. Worst one? God. I've never really been to a bad show. I was definitely thinking about this question before I just read it. I was thinking about it earlier, and although I didn't technically go, I had tickets to go see Iron Maiden a couple years ago. I think it was around like 2007, 2008, when they had just come out with one of their new albums. I don't remember what it was, but I ended up seeing the set list early. Apparently, they were doing the same set list for every show, which is common. And the set list looked so fucking boring. I didn't even go, and I spent like $80 on the tickets. I just didn't want to waste my time, because what they ended up doing was the new album just came out, and they played the entire new album from start to finish, which is like over an hour, and then they played like 3 or 4 hits, and that was it. And I was so fucking pissed, and I'm just like, I don't even want to go. I just did not want to go. And I think the album was A Matter of Life and Death. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. And I mean, the album, I never really listened to it that much, but it wasn't that great. I didn't want to sit there and listen to all new songs. You know, you got to have a good mix, especially not from start to fucking finish. Maybe if it was an anniversary tour where an album's been out for 10 or 20 years that people like know and love and is critically acclaimed, then it would be a great idea to do something like that. But that was just a kick in the balls, and I ended up just hanging out with my friends that night, and I had a way better time anyway. So that was technically the worst concert that I paid for anyway. So yeah. What do I think of Slipknot? I think I've been asked this before. I don't like Slipknot. I mean, the only thing that I even really know about Slipknot is they play metal that I really don't like, because I have heard a handful of songs. But I do like Jim Root's like guitars and his signature orange amp. I do like that stuff. I mean, but that has nothing to do with Slipknot really. What was my favorite and least favorite finale of a TV show? Well, the ones that come to mind are the ones that ended pretty recently. How I Met Your Mother's ending, and actually, like, the whole last season was pretty disappointing. I was pretty unhappy about that. If you haven't seen it, I won't ruin it. But I really didn't like that. The season finale, or the series finale for what is it called? Dexter, was just fucking terrible. That whole last season, just like How I Met Your Mother, was really bad. They rushed it, and I don't know, they fucked it up. They ruined a good show. I mean, granted, it had gone downhill for a little while, but season 7 was really good, a Dexter. And then season 8 was just dog shit. Favorites, I thought they ended The Office really well, the US version. I really liked that a lot. I thought they tied it together really well. I just finished The Killing. The Killing ended pretty well. I didn't have any questions or anything like that. What else? I don't know. That's all I can really think of right now. Breaking Bad ended really fucking good too. Alright, last question for Aaron. What do you think is the best guitar for a dark, fat tone? I mean, that's really vague in a way, because if you want something that's really dark and fat, I mean, it really depends a lot on the pickup, and it depends a lot on the amp. But if you wanted to have a darker tone, I would definitely get something that has like a darker or a warmer natural tone from the wood, like a mahogany guitar or something similar like that. Like, I wouldn't necessarily get a Strat if you wanted a really dark, heavy tone. I'd get something like an Explorer, which has a lot of wood to it and is typically mahogany, or a Les Paul, or something similar to that. And then, yeah, it really depends on the pickup choice too, because, I mean, there's so many different options out there. But I mean, if you're going for like an amp that was like a darker tone, Orange has some really good ones that's really good for darker tones, stuff like that. But I don't really know of just a guitar just the way it is that would be best. I would probably get something like a Les Paul or an Explorer or something like that. James says, I've got a Fender Strat with an Invader pickup installed in the bridge, but I think the pot is 250K. I want to upgrade to a 500K. What type of pots do I recommend? Typically I use CTS pots. It's a really, really popular pot. You can get it practically any guitar part like website or whatever. I use stumac.com usually, but there's a bunch of different ones. There are different types of pots too. I know for different brands, if you want like a push-pull pot for doing like coil split and stuff. I don't know if CTS makes ones like that, but if you're just going for like a normal one, I would just get a CTS pot. I mean, this one has a CTS in it. I think the majority of my guitars do, except some of them do have the bare knuckle pots in them, which are made by CTS anyway. They're just a little bit different. Theirs are actually 550K and 280K because when they raise it up a little bit more, the tolerance is a little off when it comes to pots. So if you get a 500K, there's usually like a 10% tolerance either above or below. So you could be getting something that's around like 450 or 550. So when it's 550, or when you buy a 550, it's usually somewhere around 500 to 600. So it's just a little bit higher, which some people prefer. But you could also get 1,000 too. That just kind of brightens it up even a little bit more. But I would definitely get rid of the 250K if you're using an Invader. It would sound way too muddy. So yeah, CTS usually works good. Zach asks, if Lil Wayne challenged you to a guitar battle, would I accept? Sure, but I don't really think it would be much of a battle because he sucks. Everybody knows he sucks. Yeah, he sucks. Landon, I want to help you with this question, but I know I'm not going to really be able to. What pickup would I recommend for an Epiphone Dot? I assume you mean it's like a 335 style semi-hollow. But I mean, I don't know what kind of music you want to play. I don't know what style you're usually really playing. So I mean, it really doesn't help me answer the question. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people would say like a Dirty Fingers or something like that, which would work pretty good. I mean, you gotta really pay attention to the guitar itself, because if you're just playing it like this, like technically unplugged, you gotta try and pay attention to how bright it sounds. I mean, if it sounds pretty bright acoustically, then you wouldn't necessarily want to put a bright pickup in it. Or if you feel like it's missing some low end or anything like that. I mean, there's a lot of different options out there, so I mean, it's kind of hard to really give you the best answer. Brendan asks, I just put a Gibson Dirty Fingers pickup in my Strat. In order to make it fit, I had to modify the body to make room for the pickup by digging out some of the wood. Was this the case with your black Strat? No, but that's just because it was already kind of routed a little deeper. When I made my Ocean Turquoise Strat, which I sold, I was going to put a Dirty Fingers in there, but it didn't fit because it wasn't routed low enough. My Fiesta Red Strat that's over there, when I got that routed, I got it routed for a universal route, or a swimming pool route, as they call it. And basically they route like the whole thing, but they also route like deeper grooves for where the screws and the legs are going to go of the pickup, so that goes a little bit lower, so you don't have to route it out a little more. But a lot of Strats really only fit short leg pickups. If you don't know what that is, you could just Google it, short versus long leg. Long legs, the only time you really need something like that is for like SGs or some Les Pauls, stuff like that. In most cases, short leg is really more ideal. But yeah, for the black Strat I didn't have to, but I completely understand you having to do that. I've had to make decisions with that before, and but just instead of routing it out, I just put a different pickup in there. So, couple questions from Ian. Do I have any thoughts on Halo custom guitars? I've looked at them before. They seem pretty cool. They seem cheap for a custom-made guitar, which is really nice. If I ever got one, I'd probably get one with like an Evertune bridge. I think that'd be really cool to have. They seem to look pretty cool. I like the Super Strat style ones. I think those look pretty cool. I just like the body shape, typically. But yeah, they seem cool. I've checked them out a couple times. How do I feel about Fender Mustangs? I assume you mean the guitar, because I'm pretty sure they have a Mustang amps too. But I don't know. I think they're pretty ugly for the most part. It's hard for me to really get into a guitar if I think it's ugly, and that's just one thing that I've always kind of been like. So I don't know. I've played one before, but it's really not for me. What's the funniest thing that's happened to me while I was in high school? Nothing really comes to mind for high school. But I mean, when I was in middle school, I was running behind someone, like the bell had just rang, and I was running behind like a group of desks, and someone like backed up to get out of their chair, and my shorts got caught on one of the cabinets, and like right on like the belt loop, and it just fucking ripped my shorts just clean off. And everyone saw my whitey tighties at the time, and I'm pretty sure it was the next day I got boxers after that, because I was so embarrassed. And yeah, that sucked, but it was pretty funny. Here's a good question. Another one from Ian. Would I rather have a free Fender custom shop guitar designed by me, or an HD remastered director's cut version of Chrono Trigger? Which some of you may or may not know is my favorite game. I mean, I do have a couple tattoos and stuff from Chrono Trigger, but I mean, honestly, I love Super Nintendo style graphics and 16-bit graphics like that, like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy. So I definitely don't need an HD remake of that. I feel like it would just kind of lose a bit of its charm. I always liked sprites and pixel art like that. It's really cool. And I like when new games, like even today, come out looking like that older style. I really like that. So I would definitely go with the custom shop Fender guitar easily. Derek says, what band or song inspired me to start playing music? Probably Blink. I mean, it could have been Blink, Sum 41, New Found Glory. That type of stuff really kind of got me into it. I started listening to those guys like the year before I got a guitar, and it just seemed fun. It seemed cool. Sounded it just sounded fun to play, so I figured, why not? Felipe asks, how is your amp EQ set up for the main tone? I've answered this question probably 400 times, but I mean, I guess I can answer it again. I'm on my channel 4 right now of my Mesa dual rectifier Roadster. The master volume isn't very high, the output isn't very high. The presence I have around 3 o'clock, a little past 3 o'clock. Bass I have just before 12, though I could put it up to 12, it really wouldn't matter. Mid I have it about 12 o'clock. Treble I have around, I guess I would say 2 o'clock. And the gain is around like 10 o'clock. But I do also have my Ibanez Tube Screamer on. I used to only put it on certain times, but I've grown accustomed to having it on, and I don't know. I've liked it with it on a lot more. It gives me a little bit more attack, which I really like. If you're curious, the settings for that one. Also, I have the TS9 Tube Screamer. The drive is at about 9 o'clock. The tone is at about 10 o'clock. And the level is just about 1 o'clock. So, altogether, it just gives me this. So that's pretty much it. Let's see. Question from David. Is your band still in the works with new songs, albums? If not, is there any chance for a Little Chaos comeback? I guess you haven't really been paying attention to my status updates, but I mean, who really is, to be honest? I quit the band. It just wasn't going anywhere. I mean, I still like the guys, but it just, I don't know, I hit a roadblock, and I was just kind of sick of jamming the same couple songs, most of which the other guitar player wrote, so I'm not going to take those, obviously. One of the songs was mine, technically, so, and I have been writing a lot of stuff over the past year, so I'm actually working with another friend of mine that lives pretty much across the country, who I've been listening to for a couple of years now, and writes and produces like some really, really great stuff. So he's helping me come out with, I'm hoping, like a little EP soon. Not that soon. I'm still definitely in the works with that. Hopefully in a few months I have a couple songs ready to show you guys. I mean, I've shown you guys a couple of them. One of them was when I played it with the other band. It was called Jiggly Muff. That one's the main riff. I'll show you how that one goes. This one's tuned way lower, but it sounded like this. So some of you might remember that one. It doesn't sound that good when it's lower tuning, but when I have more to show you guys, I definitely will. I just recently got some of the drum tracks for 2 songs. That I'm really only working on 2 songs right now, but hopefully, when those 2 are done, I'm hoping to do a couple more. So maybe I'll have like 4 or 5 songs to come out with, but we'll see. Ian. Bunch of Ians on here. This is a different Ian. This is the third Ian, I think. How much longer do you think Blink will last? I don't know. Maybe 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. I mean, Mark's already 40, so I mean, it's hard to tell. As long as the stuff sounds good, I don't really care. Alright, I've still got a lot of questions left, so I'm gonna try and fly through a couple of these. Do I like Brand New or Thursday or any band of that vibe? Not really. I've heard a couple songs from both of them, but I never really liked them. I don't know if you'd put like Taking Back Sunday into that group. Maybe a little bit, but I do like Taking Back Sunday, but I don't know if you'd really consider them same sort of thing. I'm excited for the new Foo Fighters album. Definitely. I think that's going to sound really good. Okay, I'm going to skip a couple questions because they don't make any sense. My favorite and least favorite Yellow Card albums. God, I don't know. Least favorite would probably be something I don't even listen to anymore. Probably one of their really, really early ones where they don't even have the same singer. Yeah, probably something like that. Favorite? I don't know. Paper Walls is really good. I'd either go with Paper Walls or Ocean Ave. One of them. Um, what is a guitar I've never played but always wanted to try? Any Mayonnaise guitar, really. I'd love to try a Mayonnaise Regis. Those things are crazy. I was really tempted to buy one when I sold the Les Paul, because they are a few grand, but someday maybe. But they seem really great. Michael asks if I've ever tried a Mark V Mesa head, and if I have, do I like the rectifier more? I know what they are, but I've never tried one. I mean, they seem to be pretty great, but I don't know. I've never tried one. Have I ever listened to Block Party? I think I've heard a song or two. They sound alright. I mean, they're not bad, but it's not something I really go out of my way to listen to. And have I seen Nate Mendel's from Foo Fighters bass? Apparently it's perfect, according to Joel. I haven't seen it. I didn't even know he had, like, I'm assuming it's a signature bass, but I've never seen it. Let's see, a couple questions from Owen. Where can I find hardtail strap bodies? I find them on eBay every now and then. Pretty rare. It's not often that you'll find them on there. Every now and then, maybe on reverb.com. But if you can't find one, I mean, you could always get one custom ordered on warmouth.com. I've done that with the Fiesta Red Strat. What do I recommend as a good amp cabinet? If you're using a Mustang V head. I mean, I'm not really sure where you're located. Let me see. Doesn't show. If you're in the UK, I would definitely check out Zilla cabs, because you can custom order cabs. You can get them any way you want them to look, and you can get pretty much any sort of sound by different speakers that you want. So I mean, that's definitely a good option. If you're in the US, I would check out Avatar cabs, because for the same reason, you can get a custom ordered one for practically almost half the price of like an orange cab like this one. If I ordered almost this exact cab, I could get one that's bigger, like thicker looking, same style and same speakers. I could get it for like $400, and I'm pretty sure brand new these ones are, like these orange ones are like over 600, maybe even 700. So you're paying for the name a lot when you buy something like this. And if I was going to buy another cab, I would get an Avatar cab almost definitely, unless I found like a really good used deal or something. But I would definitely check those out. Do I like matte finishes on guitars? Not really. I mean, if it's like a color like this, or like a red or blue or something like that, I really prefer gloss. But if it was something like, I don't know, like a natural finish or something, I wouldn't want it to be like shiny. Like, it'd be really cool to be able to like if it was just like oiled or something, where you could actually like feel the grooves and stuff in the wood, I would like that more. So it depends. Jacob asks, what kind of person were you in high school? Examples: quiet, popular, preppy, etc. I'm pretty much exactly the same way I was in high school as I am now. I've been out of high school for like 6 years now, over 6 years, and I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty much the same person. I mean, I got along with pretty much everybody. I mean, there were definitely cliques, but I feel like I had friends in almost every clique. And I mean, granted, there were some people that probably didn't like me, but whatever. I mean, overall, I was relatively quiet, at least like freshman, sophomore year. But that's when people started to know me a lot more, for like playing guitar and music and stuff like that. So I mean, people started to get to know me more, and I don't know, I guess I kind of opened up. I was taking pictures a lot, and Like I was really getting into photography a lot, which I'm still kind of into. I mean, I just don't really have the time, I guess. But who doesn't love getting their picture taken? So everyone was like, "Oh, John, take a picture of this or whatever." So I was always that guy that everyone sort of knew and everyone got along with. But I mean, and I had my small group of friends, but I mean, I wasn't like a jock or nerdy kid. I mean, I had a hand in like fucking every clique, I guess you could say. So, is Newfound Glory's song "Selfless" giving you a good vibe for the album? And are there any celebrities out there that you absolutely hate? Selfless kind of gives me a vibe from like, what was it, 2 albums ago, Not Without a Fight. It's kind of giving me that vibe a little bit because it kind of sounds like some of the songs on there, which isn't a bad thing. But I hope it doesn't all sound like that. I really don't love the lyrics in that song. I think they're kind of boring a little bit. But I mean, overall, I mean, it sounds fine. I feel like I'll listen to it. Celebrities that I hate, I would love to punch. What the fuck's your name? What's that dumb bitch's name? Taylor Swift. I'd love to punch her right in the face. Lady Gaga, I'm not a fan of at all, but thankfully she's kind of died out a little bit. I mean, Justin Bieber's kind of a tool, or he's definitely a tool, but I don't really hear about him that much, which is great. Akon's a huge douche. I'm sick of hearing his fucking music. I'm sure there's others, but those are the ones that really come to mind. What do I think of the new Fender models they released? I mean, you guys can't see it, but they released a new Jazzmaster and a new Telecaster. The Jazzmaster's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like a pretty standard blacktop. What am I trying to say? Blacktop Jazzmaster, but it has like a red racing stripe right here, which is cool. I mean, I don't really necessarily like that color combo because it's black with a dark red stripe. I feel like it's kind of pointless. But I mean, that one seems pretty cool. The Telecaster, I don't really like. It's pretty much a Telecaster with Strat style pickups where it's got like the tilted single coil and then two more single coils. I think it looks pretty ugly, actually. God, I've got a lot of questions. All right. Harry asks if I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet. No, and I probably won't. I don't really care. What songs do I wish Blink would play live? This is from Tom Kentworthy. I just wish they'd fucking mix up their set list for once. I'm sick of them only playing singles. And I don't know, it's pretty boring. I mean, I wish they'd play more stuff from like stuff that they just haven't played in a while, like Anthem or maybe some more off of Dude Ranch or I don't know, stuff like that. I mean, stuff that you don't have to that's not just a single. I'm sick of that. Even some of the newer stuff, like When I Was Young, I think they should play that. Absolutely, that'd be great. Quentin asked if I still record with the Scarlett 2i2 and would I recommend it. Yeah, I've been using it for a while. I haven't had any problems with it, so I definitely recommend it. Ricardo, a couple questions from him. Do I like my work? No. Do I like 3 Days Grace? No. Is there any good pedal for punk rock and post-grunge? There's so many fucking pedals out there. It's hard to really name any certain ones. I mean, Mesa Boogie's got some cool pedals that I'd like to try. TC Electronic has some cool looking pedals that seem really cool. I mean, there's so many different pedals out there. I mean, and I don't really use pedals that much anyway, so I can't really give you a specific one. Andy wants to know if I'm going to see Newfound Glory on their next tour. I've seen New Found Glory more than I've seen any other band. I really don't need to see them again. Maybe if my friends were going, and maybe if there was like some other good bands playing at the same time. But I mean, I wouldn't just buy tickets just to go see them. Especially since they never really they never really filled someone in even live for Steve, and just having one guitarist for that band doesn't work out. I feel like their sound was so much better when they had two guitar players, and now it kind of sounds kind of flat. And I don't know. I don't really like the way they sound live without a second guitar player. Jim says, "What do you think is a better opening song for a gig? Feelin' This or Dumpweed?" I mean, I'd probably prefer Dumpweed, but I feel like most Blink fans would probably go with Feelin' This. Another question I pretty much already answered. Diego asks another question about Brand New. Thoughts on Brand New? I don't care for him. Biffy Clyro, I saw him open for Muse, but I mean, they didn't really sound that great. I mean, they were okay, but they didn't really grab me, you know. Justin says, do you keep your guitars in certain tunings, or just tune whatever guitar you want to whatever I need it for? I pretty much just tune them for whatever I need it for. I like using different guitars at different times for different sounds, and I mean, having certain ones at certain tunings doesn't really make sense. I do typically keep the Silver Strat standard tuning because I use a thinner gauge strings on that one. This one I keep it like C standard. Obviously I can't really keep that at like an E standard or something like that, but other than that, everything else I pretty much just change around whenever. Stuart asks, if I had the chance to punch Shia LaBeouf in the face, would I? I mean, Shia LaBeouf is a douche, but I mean, it's never really affected me in any way. I would probably ask him how kissing the girl that played Tawny in Even Stevens was, because she was pretty damn cute. But yeah, I don't really care to punch him in the face. Brenton asks if I'm self-taught or if I took lessons. I took lessons for a couple months, but that was about it. Question from Josh Gilman. How do you decide what genre of music to play? I can never decide. I know you shouldn't decide on any one genre, but I keep getting in that mindset and I don't know why. I mean, I feel like you just play whatever comes naturally, I guess. I mean, I like a lot of punk type stuff and pop punk, but I also like a lot of metal stuff. So I mean, it all kind of intertwines a lot, and I mean, it just kind of ends up being a genre that I'm not even sure what the hell it is. So I mean, just be yourself, really. Also, when you buy an expensive instrument, do you ever have a hard time justifying it to yourself? I earn decent money working full time and I pay rent, etc. And then after saving some money enough to buy what I want, I can never bring myself to do it, even though I'm starting up bands and would play it a lot. I mean, I kind of went with a similar situation with the Les Paul Custom when I bought it. I spent like $2,500 on it, and while it was a nice guitar, it just wasn't the right guitar for me at the time. And the fact that I was having a hard time justifying it is because it costs almost 3 times the amount as my Red Strat did, or any of my other guitars, like my $500. That was a $300 Telecaster, and I was playing that thing more than I was playing the Les Paul. It just, that's the part that I have a hard time justifying with, so that's why I sold it, because it was just too expensive for me to not want to play all the time. If I only had like 1 or 2 guitars, then yeah, I wouldn't mind having like 2 like $4,000 guitars. Instead I have 9 $1,000 guitars or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like if you know that it's the guitar for you, and if you know that you're going to really, really put in the time and effort to give it $2,000 or $3,000 worth of time into it, and you're not gonna just sell it, I mean, then yeah, why not? Even if you do end up realizing you're gonna sell it, I mean, just realize that some guitars you're just never gonna get the amount that you paid for it, even if you bought it and only played it for like a month, you know. Like some guitars, you buy it for like $3,000 brand new, and then you look online and they're only selling for like $2,000 used, you know. I mean, it does happen. It sucks. So always be aware of that. John asks if I've ever smashed a guitar that I thought was complete shit. No, because even a shitty guitar you can sell for something. So William asks, what are my thoughts on Fall Out Boy, and do I like Ben Folds? I've never listened to Ben Folds. I'm pretty sure he's just kind of like piano, like alternative stuff. I mean, not really for me, really. Fall Out Boy, I liked one album from them, From Under the Cork Tree, but everything else I thought was pretty crap. So other than that, I mean, even From Under the Cork Tree I don't listen to very often. Daniel, I'm still trying to figure out your fucking question. He says, how does it feel to work at Walmart? I don't work at Walmart. I don't know why you asked me that. But I imagine it's not very fun because I work near a Walmart and I go in Walmart all the time, and everyone looks miserable. But yeah, I don't work at Walmart, so don't be a smartass when you're not sure of something. Oh, how does it feel to work at Walmart? I don't know. Ask someone that works there. Couple more questions. Lucas asks, what are my thoughts on 5 Seconds of Summer? I don't know. I hear the name every now and then, but I have no idea what they sound like or whatever. Gerard Way, same question. I think Gerard's kind of odd, and I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't really like him, and I didn't really like My Chemical Romance either. I know he's doing some solo shit right now. I could really care less. Miguel asked what I think of Fender Cabrinitas. I think they only have Cabrinita Telecasters. I don't know if they have other models of Cabrinitas. Maybe they do, but I've only seen the Tellies. I think they seem pretty cool. I don't know if I'd ever buy one. But they kind of remind me of like a Telly mixed with like a Gretsch guitar, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know if I'd ever buy one though. Tim wants to know what my favorite color is. I don't really have a favorite. I mean, I've been asked that multiple times, and I feel like I like a lot of colors for a lot of different reasons. I mean, I like blues, I like greens, I like purples, but I mean at the same time I like orange, yellow, black, you know. I like them all for different things. Like if I had to choose like one guitar color or something, I'd probably go with like an orange or maybe a blue, something like that. But I mean, if I was gonna pick like a shirt color or something, I'd probably go with like a black or a blue or something like that. Car color, I mean, it all depends on what it is, so I don't really have a specific favorite color. And that is the end of this Q&A. If you left any questions I didn't answer them, I mean, that's just the way it goes. I mean, I got a lot of questions. Some of them were kind of hard to understand, and some of them I just didn't really feel like answering. I mean, it kind of happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll be doing another one of these, I'm sure, in a month, because you guys for some reason actually like watching these, and yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching.